turn down music. Hello, hello, hello. Mic check, checking the mic. Gonna check out the stream and see how my levels are doing. This is the mic check. This is the mic check. Sounds okay to me. Hopefully that wasn't too weird and interferency. But yeah, we are getting into the tool head build today. So I've got the heat set pressed down below me under the table. I've got actually two different versions of the cowling or shroud, whatever you want to call it. I've got the one that came with my PIF, and then I've got the or printed forward parts, and then I've got one I printed myself that is the V0.2 R1. And apparently the difference. Check the overhead, if that's working. I need to get my live preview back up. There we go. The main difference is in the cooling. So I'm not sure if this is going to show up all that well. But the one with the 3 holes in the cooling duct area is the new one. So it's supposed to have much improved cooling, but still has room for the NeoPixel sequin down there. Other than that, I don't think there's much of a difference in the shroud. So I think I'm going to use the original PIF one initially, and then I've got some other parts printed for the V0.2 R1. And I think I'll do all of those at the same time. I've got like the Z-axis guy right here, or the limit switch holder, and the filament runout sensor, which is in the foot. So I think we'll do all of those kind of at the same time. But we now need to we now need to get to where we need to be in the manual. Let me pull that up. And we're pretty far down there. I think there's only like 1 or 2 sections left. See, what do I have for the desktop? I have nothing in the desktop. Turn on chat. On that guy. Hey Chris, how's it going? Let me know as always how the levels are. I did a little sound check, but I'm not sure if the music. I changed my setup a little bit, but today we're looking to get to the print head, and I still need to show you guys something. There we go, print head. I just went over the fact that I have the V0.2 R1 parts printed out. And there's a slight difference basically in the cooling. Sounds good to you? Awesome. So I'll turn on the overhead. Not sure if you can see down there in the bottom right, but one of the ducts has 3 cooling holes and one of them only has 2. So this one is the new revision, but I'm gonna wait and put all of the new revision stuff on at the same time. There's a filament runout sensor. There is a beefier Z end-stop mount. There is a guidler change and a couple other things. So that's the plan right now, is to do all of them at the same time, but we'll see. I'm sure my preview is live so I can see what's going on. Hey Renovic, how's it going? We are going to start on the print head today, so let's see what they have us doing first. A bunch of heat set inserts, so let me make some room for that. Can you guys hear the music? I rerouted how I'm doing the music, so it might not be the same, at the same level. So we're going to do the PIF part. And we need to get our heat set press out. And this is actually going to be going away. I actually have printed parts on the table. So these are the printed parts for the Vector 3D heat press insert. So this is like the base of the stand, this is the top arm, this is the ballast washer carrier. Zoom out, that might help, yeah. So I'm gonna be building this. It's the same one Steve just built on stream. I bought the what do you call it? The printed parts, the files. So I'm gonna have to source all the stuff myself. But I've got some 2040 extrusion coming, and I've got some eccentric nuts. I've already got a bunch of V-roller wheels over there, so should be able to get everything built up for it. But this guy, it served me fairly well. I don't like it being on this board anymore. It's kind of, I had a flood and it absorbed a whole bunch of water. Yo, what's up, Better? How's it going? Yeah, but I had a flood in my house, and this piece of wood absorbed a bunch of water, so it doesn't even sit flat anymore. The kinematics on this press aren't the best because it just uses kind of like this little plastic printed piece in there. So man, I gotta make one of those. Been freebasing it. Yeah, I mean, it works well to kind of what I think I'm gonna do for my next V0, because I have the Formbot kit. I think I'm gonna try doing all the heat set inserts before I start the build. So I get all of them done, just go through the manual, do all of them, have all of them done, so that the build will be less, focusing on this because I've already, done it, and more focused on actually putting the pieces together. And so having one of these, I think, is really good in that kind of situation where you're just like really railing them out. So we need 1, 2, 3 for this piece. And there are 2 up top. It is kind of close quarters for the tool head. A lot of the pieces are really tight in. Throw them down here. Zoom in. Does that help you see any? Not a whole lot. But I do feel super consistent doing it with this. Where's my little guy to press it down? At the very least, don't have to worry about them being straight all that much. And the inner radius of that corner is just big enough that I don't have to worry about hitting the wall. I did see the LDO kit went on sale, the V2.4 Rev C. It was still available as of this morning, so it's sold out, but it only sold out because they ran out of the Octopus Pro boards. MatterHackers. Yeah, the Rev A was $700, right? This is the Rev C. If you go back to search for Voron, maybe it's like maybe they're all gone now, but for a little while it went out of sale, or it went out of stock because they didn't have enough boards. But yeah, it looks like it's completely gone now. Oh, wait, here's the listing. Yeah, it's completely out of stock now. But yeah, I tweeted it out. I've got this and then LDO V0.2 that I need to build. I was really tempted to pull the trigger on this. A really cool thing about MatterHackers is that, like, in the US, free shipping, next day shipping. The shipping's pretty fast. Stuff gets to me from... Hey Mika. Did Feder get that filament sent off to you today? I know you won the giveaway yesterday, right? But you also get rewards. So when you buy something like this, if you were to put this in your cart and check out with it, you get $28 in rewards. So that's like enough to buy a whole spool of filament, which is pretty good. So obviously it benefits them because it keeps you buying stuff on their site. But it's also, you know, like if you buy this from another place, you're not going to get that rewards. You're probably not going to get free shipping. But yeah, I've been really liking getting stuff like this. I've been getting all my Hotends from MatterHackers. I get a lot of their build series filament. Prints really awesome for me. So we'll see if this ends up going back in stock. It depends on, you know, like if they have units but they don't have some of the other stuff, because I would think that they would have taken this listing down if it was completely sold out. So is there 350 even in stock? Oh, this is the 350 Rev C. So I guess the Jason sent out a video talking about what did he say? Oh, the differences between Rev A and Rev C. So there's like a YouTube video you can go check out and see what the differences are. And I think it's also on the site. So obviously this has got afterburner parts in it probably. And I'm not really sure of some of the other differences, but I really want to build a 2.4. But yeah, anybody who got in on that sale got like a freaking killer deal. I saw several people online mention that they picked it up. So get back to the build, go to overhead. And I guess I can put me down low, set up that cam. So you can see my bright and shining face. Wait, tell him, Steve. Did Mika Steve not win? Was it another Steve? I thought it was Mika, but maybe I was mistaken. We also need the shuttle. All the printed pieces. Here is a shuttle. I might have multiple. Mika also happens to be a Steve, okay. What other parts do I need? Shipping was crazy, like crazy busy today. I guess I'll just keep all these parts kind of out here. I'm gonna need this guy, I'm gonna need the motor back. But yeah, interesting little thing. Here is the difference between my printed part and the PIF part. I'm not sure how well that's going to show up. They're both the same filament. I bought the filament that they used, but you might be able to tell from the fact that I had to use glue stick to get it to stick down, while they use like one of these nice finished sheets. I'm not sure if the layer lines and the VFA from my Mark III shows up on camera. And their top surface is like immaculate, whereas mine has a little bit of gaps. But the PIF parts are freaking baller. No, like $56 for a single roll? That is nuts. Is it just like the rates going up and down or something? Because I know you say you try to cover it up to $35. Yeah, shipping a $20, $30 spool of filament for twice as much as it costs is kind of rough. He's not in the US and rates are crazy high. That's unfortunate. Does the company, did you work anything out with the company who provides it? Do they have any like European shipping or something and you could just buy it on their site and ship it to them? Right? That's the thing. It's like triple cost of the filament. That's pretty ridiculous. Alright, so let's get this guidler. I do still need to print out the vise that you have better. I like that in terms of, you know, not having to worry about burning myself holding these small parts. That is not quite flush. It will be in constant tension. It's important to get a good bond between the insert and plastic for this part. That's flush. Good idea seeing how much it would cost to ship from them. I'll check now. Yeah, we gotta hit all the time with shipping. Oh, you're in Australia. Yeah, everything just costs more in Australia, right? I keep hearing about my friends in Canada and Australia, how much getting stuff shipped to them sucks. And then just like the cost of electronics and 3D printer kits cost way more from what I've seen. My buddy was trying to build a computer and he lives in Canada and he was just talking about like a 3070. I was like, oh, look at the 3070. You can get them, you know, at like a Micro Center type store for like so many hundreds of dollars. And he was like, it's basically like 1.8 times that. And if he orders from the US, they get hit with like all sorts of customs and stuff. Weird thing I found out about Australia is that you guys have a bunch of crazy time zones and they're not all on the hour. So literally in one part of the country, it could be like 30 minutes, like out of sync with another part of the country. I used to shoot video for a website called Tweaktown. They do like PC reviews and stuff. And they had two different guys in two different parts of Australia. And they're in different time zones. And one was like, yeah, it's 11:30 here. And the other guy was like, yeah, it's 9 a.m. here. I'm like, what? How does that work? Parts of India are like that too. That threw me for a loop. Like I'm trying to, you know, figure out just how to coordinate with somebody on the other side of the world that's a day ahead of me, and they're they're in two different time zones that aren't even hours apart. So these standoffs are 20 millimeters, and I actually have these guys, which are a bunch of brash. They're brash standoffs, and I think they're exactly the same size. So I'm gonna try these out and see how well they work. And if not, I'll come back and actually put heat inserts into this, because these just look like they're going to be a pain to get heat inserts into like nice and evenly. So I just have these from doing PC builds and all sorts of sim racing stuff, so I'm going to use these. It's hard enough for me to coordinate stuff in the United States with people in like California that are three hours behind, let alone like being off by half an hour. Before heating your iron, check that you will not contact, eventually unintentionally melt anything. I did not melt anything unintentionally. Yeah, East Coast at the moment is 12:25. Central is 11:55 a.m. West Coast is 1025. That blows my mind. I guess you probably get used to it. And I guess it being a half an hour isn't all that crazy. If it was like 37 minutes or something, that would probably be a little bit weirder. But yeah, that threw me for a loop when I first heard about it. We are running low on heat set inserts. There's maybe a dozen left in here, maybe a little bit more, closer to 20. So we'll see. So far, I haven't noticed a ton of extras on any hardware, but we'll see if there's very many extras. So we need one of these up top. Keep switching the zoom like every 30 seconds. I'm kind of thinking about going to more of an over-the-shoulder view instead of a straight down overhead view. I'm not sure though. I'll be interested to see what you guys think. Like if it's over the shoulder and kind of sitting behind me, then you guys will see more what I see. Living room workbench just built an LDO V2, and he kind of had his camera always from his perspective, and it seemed to work out well for him. I was really able to see a lot of stuff. Like right now, I don't think you guys get very much detail on what I'm doing. So we've got these three heat inserts right here. It's not quite all the way flush. So one thing I am kind of worried about is the gear that goes into this. It's the same internals that are in the Trident kit that Feder just built, but I hear that if the little plastic gear is not set at the right distance, it can be pretty hard to get things built like nicely. So I think they provide like a little thing for you to sand it down. I have it printed out over there, but you know, that doesn't sound ideal. So we need a M26 flathead. M26 flathead. There's only like a few of these. And that goes in this little guy. Let's find the right driver. Is that the right driver? And this is like the anti-squish. The meshing of the BMG gears at a later step. So I think this little screw goes in the mid body, very similar to the full-size Stealthburner, and it helps make sure that there's not too much squish for the for like flexible filaments, maybe. So I'm just going to tighten it all the way down for now. So Feder, did you get as far as you wanted to with the electronics the other day? Seems like it was close to like 90% done. Okay, that's 3 on that part, and then 2 in the bottom just on the outside. See somebody typing, I'm gonna look in a second. It's almost done. Just need to put the connectors on your ADXL wire and extend the LED wires. Just the tool head wire. Just tool head wiring is left to run. Well, fans and the screen and skirts too. But yeah, I mean, skirts and stuff you can leave off until you kind of get it printing if you want to. It depends on how finished you want it to be. Some people seem to want to get it completely done and, you know, not have to flip it back over anymore. And some people like to get it just to the mechanical and electrical stuff is done and then start printing. Because you can print PLA on it without the enclosure. So those steps are done. Right, I just need fan and screen sides in there, gotcha. So yeah, so you can mount the fan and the screen. You don't have to worry about all the skirts. 3D Print SOS is building a Trident kit. He's been building it live streams on his channel. I can't speak right now. And he's got streams up if anybody wants to go watch a, I'll say somewhat of a novice Voron builder. You know, similar to me, has a fair bit of experience building 3D printers and using 3D printers, but not built a Voron yet. I think it's a different kind of perspective and experience when somebody like us builds it versus somebody like Steve builds and other folks who, you know, built so many. Yeah, so we need some of our internals now. So this is the little container with all of the stuff that they give you. Not this printed part, I put that in there, but got our BMG gear. They look fairly well machined. Some of the really cheap stuff on Amazon and Aliexpress looks really roughly machined. I'm not sure I'd say that these are like official BMG, but they look pretty decent. Yep, well said. I built a ton of machines of all kinds, but first Voron. And I think the troubles that like we run into, that I've run into on this, and that you run into on your Trident are stuff that people who don't have a ton of experience with Vorons are going to probably run into. So I definitely think it provides like a good contrast to other folks. Do we only need one bearing for this? Because I only, oh no, there's 2 bearings in there. They're just tiny. So I need a paper towel and some grease. So I'm gonna put it to a vote. I wish I had a poll set up, but should I grease this with the EP2 that I picked up from Fabrico, which I know is recommended for rails, or should I do it with the white lithium? What do you think? Inquiring minds want to know. Do I have very many more heat set inserts I need to do? Because if I don't, I'm gonna put this away. I'm not seeing any. So let's move this guy. I'd use whichever is thicker. I think the EP2 is thicker. THICC, I can't spell. Anybody else have any impression? Thick lube. I mean, it'll last longer. Some people like to use the oils, but whenever I use an oil versus a grease, I notice the oils kind of wick away off of it. Like literally you can see it wicking off and hitting the sides of whatever is next to it. And also it just kind of burns up quicker. All right, we'll use the EP2. So we need this idler out. Idler. Add lubrication film is A lubrication film is required to ensure smooth operation and longevity. Refer to Voron sourcing guide for lubricant option. I'm just gonna move the frame off the table for a little while. Oh, Feder, if you do print a heat set press, I recommend checking out the Vector 3D one. The files cost like $8, and then you have to buy some stuff, but he's got a pretty good sourcing guide. So you can get free ones, like the one I have is an Adafruit one, and their files are free. But he's got this one called the Vertical Heat Set Insert Press. Yup, that one's on your scope. Yeah, Steve built it on stream. I've seen a few other people use it, and I've seen it in his videos. And I like that it uses 2020 or 2040 extrusion here. So you have a carriage for both the soldering iron side, and a carriage for this side. If you like check out mine, it doesn't have that. This is just a little L piece that like slides inside of the rail. So it's a little jerky. Also, there's a lot of play. The V wheels don't have eccentric nuts in the design, so his do. So he just mentioned that he doesn't recommend buying kits from him right now if we're in the US, because the shipping is ridiculous, which you just learned about. So he recommends self-sourcing and, you know, buying the parts from him. So I'm going to build this. We'll see if I build it on stream or not. But he also has a parametric 3D printed soldering iron holder. So you can like take measurements of your soldering iron, and if it has a taper, you can actually put that into Fusion 360 and it'll adjust it for you, which is cool. I had plans of trying to see if I can reuse an old printer, like using the Hotend board and screen for it. Not sure if 300T will be hot enough though. Good question. I'm not sure. Oh, you were gonna use it and like use like electronic controls to like accurately press it down, maybe? That would be kind of sick. Naomi Wu also has one that's like crazy advanced. I think it's a little bit better for like production stuff. Which if you're gonna build a bunch of Voron kits, that might be useful, but hers is definitely like oriented towards somebody who's producing a bunch of printed parts that require them and just need to pump them out consistently. On hers, it has a rubber band system, so you can dial in the perfect amount of tension so that it'll press it and then slowly release. It's a cool design, but probably a bit extra for what I need. It's also $250, I think, so. All right, let's get this loops. I don't think that focus is set up well for stuff down there at the table. Might be useless, just an idea. It could be content. Anything for the content sometimes, right? And sometimes it's good to just fail at stuff too. Gonna get a little bit pushed out and push it into one of the bearings. Slide it through. Some of the excess, put it in the other one. The EP2 definitely has a little bit more of a smell, I've noticed. A pungent aroma. A little bit squeezed into that guy. Him on there, and then I'm going to take the excess and put it on the actual needle bearings. Roll it around a little bit. Press it into here. Buttery smooth. Lol worth more than both my printers combined. I'm good at that. Check out the one video where I tried to learn to fly a plane. Did it end up in several pieces? That's my experience trying to fly RC planes. A drone, like a video drone, isn't too bad because it's like playing a video game, but an RC airplane, it was like one of the foam ones that can hit the ground and take a grunt, but just the spatial kind of awareness you need to have for that. Oh, RC planes scared me for a sec. Scared me for a sec. I assume it's an RC plane. Unless you're Harrison Fording it up. Crashing like a little turboprop or something. What's the next step? So that's in there, and we need to put a little screw. So our M2 510 plastic piece. I got another RC plane video coming soon. Are you able to parlay the two styles of videos together well? If I recall right, you mentioned you might be thinking about doing a different channel for that stuff. I don't know where any of my actual screwdrivers are. I need Phillips. My dad crashed a homemade V0.2. What? So I guess this piece is just for reinforcement. Extra strength for the guide load component along its layer lines. That's an interesting concept I haven't used. I've used a couple metal dowels to provide some extra strength on a print, but I haven't used any hardware just for strength. Makes sense, I guess. It was before I was born. Glad he was okay, otherwise I would not be here. Any landing you can walk away from, right? Check orientation. Yep, I don't think you can put this in backwards, but pretty sure we have it in the correct way. Moving on. Okay, so here it needs to be less than 3 millimeters for this little gear. Where did I put that? Oh, it's over here. So that's looking like more than 3 millimeters to me. What do you guys think? Break out the I was printing some mock-up car parts for a friend in the car club around me, and they do everything in inches, and it's like a foreign language to me now. Well, not quite, but I'm just used to working in millimeters for 3D printing stuff so much. Let's see what we are at for this. 3.35. So that is not less than 3 millimeters. So we need to take this printed piece, which should be, oops, slightly less than 3 millimeters. It's like 395, 39, or 29, 295, depending on how hard you squeeze it, which is why I always have frustrations kind of measuring printed parts. So we're gonna need to sand this down. I have some files here. And I'm not sure how much of this is gonna end up coming onto the mic. So it seems like even in LDO kits, which are, you know, like pretty highly regarded kits, people are having issues with the shaft being either not correctly mounted, or it's correctly mounted but the shaft is too long. I'm not sure, but it's definitely not like only a Formbot issue. A bit of a pain. This file is making pretty short work of it, but I'm getting filings everywhere. Does anybody else have to do this on any of their Voron extruders? Maybe it's only the 0.2 kits and not the full-size Stealthburners. Alright, hands starting to cramp, take a little break. My NAV is probably going to have almost no 3D printed parts. Still deciding on the Hotend setup. I hate doing the whole brass insert stuff. So do you get stuff CNC? Or CNC stuff yourself? I saw that the service I use, Thin can now tap holes. They also do metal bending too, which is pretty nice. So you could technically get a Kirigami bed made from them. Not sure if it'd be worth it as a one-off thing, but it seems like they're trying to be like a little bit of a one-stop shop for DIYers and prototypes. I get stuff CNC'd. I wish I could do it myself. Maybe eventually, yeah. It's a pretty deep kind of knowledge hole. It's obviously very useful to have that capability. But like getting a machine that works well enough is one whole thing. And then learning how to do setup and speeds and feeds is a whole nother thing from what I've kind of talked with people about. The camera's shaking a bit. I am filing away a little bit of this printed part, but you can measure everything at the end. See where we're at. V0. $318. So we're making our way downtown. Not quite there yet. I feel like a file is a better way to go than sandpaper. Again, I wish I had like a vise. Not perfectly square, but that says I basically did nothing. I might be getting so close to the printed part now that it not taking away material from the actual shaft anymore. All I'm seeing is failed Kickstarter, for example, back in 2018, but you live and you learn. Did you have a message before that? Chris? Still basically the same. I think the jig is actually preventing me from removing any material now. I got some sandpaper out in the garage. I will be right back. And I'm back. We're talking about past printer builds. Did you buy a Kickstarter that failed? Let's see if I actually removed any material. $296. So the sandpaper actually worked fairly well. I hit it with 160 grit. So Voron knows best. Should have listened to them. I made the Kickstarter that failed. Well, I basically ended it early when I knew it wasn't going to get funded. Oh, gotcha. Again, you know, like sometimes you learn quite a bit by doing something and failing. My first printer was like a super early Bamboo Labs, many of the same features back in 2018. Well, you were like 3 years ahead of the curve. Product development is pretty damn hard. I worked with a guy who creates steering wheels, like very, very nice sim racing steering wheels, like this one. So this is a GSI Formula Pro Elite steering wheel. It retails for about $1,300. And I helped write the original firmware on it. I helped write the Windows app that when you connect it to USB, you can kind of configure stuff. And then I wrote a configurator that lets you customize where all the color stickers and all that kind of stuff is. So I was working with him as he developed it, and it's like freaking really, really difficult to get a product from kind of like a prototype into an actual finished thing. So he sold many thousands of these now. You can actually see some rust on this black oxide hardware from where the house flooded. But yeah, product development is really, really hard. And very, very expensive from what I found. That's a very, very nice steering wheel. So we were on like a shared Discord, and he had done a prototype with just like very, very DIY type things, and he was looking to, you know, create a better product. So he was using like a USB board that you just plug everything into, and it just shows up as like a super generic board, and you can't do any programming or anything with it. So I was like, hey, I work on this stuff too. I'm a software engineer. I can possibly help write some, you know, some firmware that will, you know, do special stuff. And then he got another guy who was a sim racer to do all the PCBs for it. So we kind of all worked together, and I helped get the initial product. Now they've got like a guy who is dedicated to doing their firmware and software. But yeah, it was pretty cool to help get a product somewhat off the ground. All right, so we are less than 3 millimeters. We need to make sure that our bearings still fit. Oh, and something just rolled away, and I did not see where it went. I think it was the bear. The bearing still fits on that side, also fits on that side. Can anyone see where that bearing went? Here it is. See, I think that steering wheel, like for the base model, is like $1,100. It's full carbon fiber on the front, full metal chassis, aluminum chassis on the back, silicone over molded grips. The shifters on the back are all full metal. It uses Hall effect sensors for the clutches. It's a pretty damn nice steering wheel. They actually sell them in Micro Center too, which is kind of cool. I can walk into a Micro Center and see a product that I help like develop. That's pretty sick. What's next? That's a great feeling. Yeah, it's pretty dope. Like, so I went to the Micro Center in Rockville, Maryland, and they had them in there. And like these two guys were looking at like the super cheap, like entry level stuff. And then I was joking with them and I pointed at, you know, that wheel and I was like, that they had on demo. I was like, you guys should pick up one of those. And they were like, I wish, that's the sickest wheel in the world. And like it felt kind of cool to hear people talk about something you worked on. I don't watch a lot of sim racers other than Jimmy Broadbent, mostly because the silly antics he does. It was cool during 2020 when they had the virtual F1 races though. I love that stuff. Like I felt like I got to know a lot of the, especially younger drivers, so much better when they had to do the virtual GPs. Like you got to see their personality. All of them started streaming. It's pretty sick. I designed a few board games, published 2 myself, 2 Kickstarters. Latest going to be published in a few months. That's cool. Oh, in Germany. Yeah, you do have a lot of board games behind you in your setup, don't you? On that wall to your like back right. I think I noticed that. I was like, I think this man is into board games. All right, so we're gonna take the motor plate. Super glue this hex nut. So I've got super glue, but the problem I have is that the applicator tip is a little non-existent, and it's medium flow glue, so it's a little hard to precisely pour. So let's get that paper towel back out. And we'll just have to make a sacrificial brush. Hobbies. A few times in 3D printer chats, I've had people join and tell me that they backed my Kickstarter. It was like 3 years later, and that felt nice. I bet that felt pretty awesome. You tend to try to monetize your hobbies? Chris, I'm great with ideas, some engineering. I'm terrible at sales. That's also probably the hardest part. You could have the greatest product in the world, like demonstrably better, and people who can just monetize and market and sell can end up being more successful. Crazy world we live in. What were you talking about on stream the other day, Feder? Like Flying Bear, and how they make some pretty nice printers, but they just don't do a lot of sales volume. Oh, we need a M3 hex nut. Yep, I was super surprised by the machines, the Flying Bear ones. So I'm just gonna dip this guy into a little bit of that glue. Try to not get it on the inside, and then we'll press it in. And then hit it with a little bit of instant set or zap kicker, which it's made for their CA glue, cyanoacrylate. CA accelerator is what this is, but it'll work with pretty much any glue, so I need to spray it so it won't get all over anything I don't want it to. But that helps super glue set like almost instantly. Like, why are they not all over? Gotta be marketing lack thereof. What about their volume? Are they only marketing to meet the volume they can like do you think? Like, they're worried if they overmarket, the demand will become... But that's not a bad problem, right? For the glue kicker, yeah, I think it's better than hairspray. Like, this kicker is pretty much only an aerosol and the active ingredient necessary to kick the glue. You can use, like, baking soda, I think. There's a bunch of stuff that will act as a accelerator or kicker, but I find the stuff that you can... Right, you can solve that one quicker. Yeah, having too much demand and not enough product is a good problem to have, or a preferable problem to have, I guess. So, like, good product, high demand, not enough supply. I mean, it's at a degree of magnitude higher, but that's what Prusa always runs into, right? They almost always have at least a slight waiting list on most of their printers. For years after release. And I'm sure they lose some like pre-sales and stuff like that, but so we got that and that in. Alright, we can start assembling stuff now. Am I punched in? There's a delay on that. It's kind of funky. Alright. Yeah, you can always get more funding or potentially ramp up with spending orders. Certain things, or so I've heard. Let's see. We need the other bearing to get pressed into this guy. Come on. The screwdriver tip is magnetized, so it's not. Go. Got him partially pressed down. Is there anything I can use to get him? Oh, look at that. An LTT screwdriver is like possibly the perfect size. I should hit up Linus and tell him. We have the bearing, we need to put the shuttle in, which goes like a weird way they're orienting things, like this. Then we need to get the guidler. And it goes facing up like this. Then we need the arm, which I did not have out. And that goes in here. Oh, this is the latch, as they call it. Then we put on the mid body. Which goes like so. snaps into place pretty well. The fit, the way the all these PIF parts fit together is really, really good. I don't think my printed parts are nearly to the same quality. M3 by 25 button heads. We need 3. Come on. There we go. 1, a 2, a 3, a 3. The lower M325 screw acts as a hinge pin for the guider arm. Be sure not to over tighten it. Check that the guider can still move smoothly. Move smoothly. All the holes are really, really nice. In terms of like the screws being able to pass through them. So that little screw, all it seems to do is adjust how the max distance that this can like get pressed up against there, if that makes sense. So that impacts how meshed the gears can become. And then these 3. Trying to look at the seam to feel or see when things are probably getting tight enough. Don't want to hear that crack. That's a terrible sound to hear. And then this guy needs to be able to open up, but he can't. So maybe that's too tight. Might need to file or sand that piece down a little bit. Or maybe that's just perfectly tight enough. So these accents, I actually printed those out separate. Because this is a printed forward piece, so it didn't come with the dual color. So I just kind of had to glue them in there. So I do have the new 0.2 R1 printed out. And it has, I mentioned this early in the stream, but it has better cooling ducts. So there's like 3 cooling ducts instead of 2 to get more air on the printed parts. But I kind of want to reprint it and do it as like an actual dual color print, which I've kind of gotten that kind of switched down in the process of doing it in Prusa Slicer. So now we need M3 by 10 button head. Just to and those go from underneath. You might need a ball head for. These are my Creality Allen keys that I just printed these little screwdriver heads for. And I've got a set of T-handle ones too, because I have so many of these keys from Creality printers. Really every printer you buy. Although some of them, my TiVo didn't come with like nice ball end ones, or nicer ball end ones. They came with just plain old Allen keys. I hear that plastic creak and it's making me nervous. You know, if you go a little bit too far, you get that crack. Guide lure can move. tension arm can move. Might need to sand that down or file that down a little bit. Next step. So now we need to, they have this guy already pre-applied, which is kind of nice. Loosen him up. And where is my chapstick? AKA Red Locker. I much prefer this to the liquid stuff. I tend to get the liquid stuff pretty much everywhere, so. Is that one flat? It's actually kind of stuck on there a little bit. It looks like, yeah, it's on the flat. Tight enough so that I can adjust it, but it can't twist. So Feder, how many more streams do you think before you're pushing plastic? Or how many more streams to your moving stuff, and how many more streams to your pushing plastic? And that orientation is wrong. So the way they had that preset on there is not correct. It needs to be reversed. Damn, loaded question. Putting you on the spot. And retighten him. Definitely check that orientation before you throw it in there. And then we're going to set him inside. I think now is a good time to go grab a piece of filament. I'm thinking another one for wiring, then we're hitting that big red button. Okay. He's under pressure now. Then at least one for firmware. Yeah, firmware setup is like pretty intensive. Do I want to use a piece of filament or that little? My Maker's Select Plus came with this guy, which is a 1.75 millimeter rod that you can use for kind of pushing heat creep jams. And even though I don't use that printer much, I still use it for a lot of jam clearing, but it also helps with stuff like this, where you want to have something the approximate width of a strand of filament. Kind of hard to see in there. Basically, I'm trying to get that gear aligned. And then I need to get the set screw facing me. Maybe I don't need to do it yet. We're gonna put the motor plate on. M3 by 6. 3 to 4 realistically, yeah. You definitely don't want to rush anything either. Do they have any notes on this page? No. So we need to have a certain spacing of the 52 gear. That's the wrong driver. We also use our little motorized wow stick. What are you not screwing in? That one's a 3x10. Oh no. Wait, what is Hodo? 2 3x6s, 1 3x10. Oh yeah. Your driver. What does it stand for? Something tools? Like a large driver with a ton of torque. Yeah. Well, I didn't really check that spacing before I put that on. .52 gear spacing. For the next steps, we need to ensure that the 52th gear is not rubbing any of the plastic parts. It should generally be centered in its available space between the mid-body and the motor plate, as shown below. Make sure your guidler door is open so that you can really adjust the position of the 52th. So it can kind of go back and forth a little bit. It's real tight quarters in here. So I guess that's what the... Oh, you bought a Hono too? You need to get a sponsorship, better moving product. So how are you supposed to actually adjust the 52th gear? Like manually moving it? Okay, so depending on how loose you let that set screw, you can kind of adjust this gear. And yeah, the focus is not great. So I'm trying to make sure that gear isn't rubbing on either the motor plate on this side or the inner part of the printed body. And I think that's pretty good spacing. Maybe it's rubbing on the motor body a tiny bit, but it's hard to make that kind of a micro adjustment. Secret Squirrel product. They're a tool company that has a bit more focus on aesthetics. Most companies focus hard on making things look like they work. Is it Home Tools? Is that what Hodo is? I remember you saying it on stream. I think that's good, so I just need to tighten down that set screw now. This is a little challenging. And that's what we just did. We just made sure that the filament path was Their little shepherd's rod is nice and straight. It's really hard to pick up on camera. I don't think I can get enough light in there. But the movement seems really good. How's that focus right now? Can you guys actually see stuff? Yeah, Home Tools, Hodo. Good morning. What's the status? We are getting the tool head assembled. Slow but steadily. A lot of chatting. So I just got the gear on the inside kind of spaced well, I think. It can kind of move around on the inside, right? But we want it such that when the filament is in line with everything, then this gear isn't touching either the motor plate or the printed part, is what I've kind of determined. It feels nice and smooth. It's riding inside of the bearings really well. So, do you go by Chris on Discord, living room, workbench? Do you have a preference? But Chris just did he's finishing up a Voron 0.2 LDL kit. For me, it's sometimes so hard to get the filament past the gears, no clue why. So yeah, I've built an M4 extruder before, and I've noticed that it can be hard to get it to feed in correctly. On the M4, sometimes I tell it to extrude while I'm trying to push the filament in, just so that it kind of grabs it. No preference, I need to figure that out. I also don't use this account much but posting videos, gotcha. So I think we're all aligned. I'm gonna tighten that down just a little bit more. That's my little shepherd's rod. So I bought my Maker Select Plus 6 years ago, and this came with it in order to kind of help clear jams. It's 1.75 millimeters, and I've kept it the whole time. A note on springs. We need the spring, and then there's a little white, like Delrin or PTFE nut. Looks like a metal meat skewer. It's probably, I call it the little shepherd's rod because it's got a curve on the top, like a shepherd's stick. I don't know what that thing is called. But you feed this into the guider, press down, and get it to actually screw in without losing all the parts like I just did. That feels all right. All right, that's the way it's supposed to operate. These make the best fidget toys. When I built my M4 extruder, I actually still have an extra one over there, but I would just kind of sit at my desk, just like popping them open. And then it's also got the little motor attached. So honestly, it's like a little fidget toy. I sit at my desk sometimes just doing this, like a DJ, and then popping this open and closing it. Yeah, if you're looking for a decent Bowden extruder to use on any kind of printer as an upgrade, these have been working pretty well for me. Consider buying the original Bondtech part, as those are known to work well. Source from a different vendor, check that it's roughly 12 millimeters long with an outer diameter of 6 millimeters and a wire thickness of 1. That's a lot of measuring for a spring. I'm going to go ahead and say that this is good for now, and if I have problems, I'll measure and look to replace. I do like it's got like a decent little knurled knob on it. Doesn't have like the LBO symbol or anything like that, but decent enough. Ordered an M4 kit yesterday. Where'd you get your kit from? Printhead. So I think that's right. You just don't want to try to close it while the idler is like completely out. Yeah, that's right. Got an itch in my throat. Okay, so now I actually need a piece of filament. And side cutters. Maybe white filament isn't the best to test this on. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to see the teeth marks. So anti-squish thingamajig. Minimum distance. Setting the minimum distance help prevent gears from meshing too tightly or binding up in the extruder. Okay, so I notice it's not meshing well. I can play with that. That feeds okay when the latch is open. Then when I close it, I can see some tiny little teeth marks, but they're not going to show up on camera. I got some ABS parts from an Etsy shop for my M4 kit, but then I self-sourced all the like other parts. So fans, all right. So I'm gonna start out with the sock fans, which are pretty much not branded anything. And then I have a nice set of fans that are from DFH, I think, which is like a web shop for Voron parts and stuff. So these are nicer fans. These are GDS time. But I'm gonna start out with the fans that came in the kit and then possibly swap them out if need be. So the first fan needs to be oriented like so, and should hopefully just slide in. They are pretty dang cheap. They're like kind of coming apart already. Pingdalentu is the brand. If anyone was wondering. But how do these slide in? Are you supposed to go straight down? Not really wanting to. Kind of in there. Okay. Oh, Chris, I did print out the other shroud. I was showing everybody the difference between the 3 blower holes versus the 2. So this should put a lot more air onto the printed plastic. What do we do next? We do the control fan. It's not the right. HE fan. And it needs to blow this way, and the cable comes out here. This just press fit, it doesn't require any screws. And then we route the cable up this way. And there's no like self-retaining clips in there for the cable, so I think we just need to hold it while we put in the final fan. Final fan. Just here. And it needs to these things always come out. I don't know if the retaining clip breaks or if it's just terrible designs, but they always end up coming out. And it makes it so you can't fit it into anything. Have you noticed any inconsistencies so far with the shroud you have installed? Just a regular V0.2? Like, there's nothing keeping it in here. This is making it so it's kind of hard to fit into the slot, but nope, that's not the right way. That needs to be here, right? Facing down into the blower. And still having some clearance issues with this fan wire is bumping into this fan and it's not able to push down all the way. Okay, I was able to push it in with the screwdriver a little bit. That's down. Is that the right orientation on both of those? Okay, so we just load up the fans. And now time for the motor. But wait, why do you build the old one if you have the new one? I figured I'd just do everything with the old one, the parts I initially printed, and then, like you said, do all of the new stuff together. So, what do you think, Chris? Wire up or wires down? I think you did wires down and it worked out okay, right? And we need M3 by 10s? That seems kind of long. Okay. Depends on your tool headboard. It is a umbilical. So it's gonna mount like this. Down doesn't work with the stock one. I have yeah, the umbilical. It's not the Pico umbilical, just an umbilical. These are really M3 by 10 on both sides. Yes, they have extra thread. I get enough clearance to actually. We're gonna try down first. And if I have to completely disassemble it, then we will. Oh, so the threaded spacers thread onto this, that's why it needs to be M3 by 10. And I'm gonna need a ball head. Which is where? Where did you go? Did you guys see it? The black head? And I put it back in the spot? Wow, that's a first. Not sure, it depends on how it's mounted. On the Pico umbilical, there's a gap, but if this mounts like the original, there's no gap to route the wires through. Give it a shot. We're gonna give it a shot. I like the idea of it being tucked away if it's possible. And if it's not, then we'll redo it. It's a very short length, so we can also tuck the cables in somewhere if necessary. Oh yeah, you could have moved this out of the way completely. Oh, and we don't tighten this down all the way yet. This is how we mesh. There's not a lot of movement. It's like a few millimeters of movement to get the meshing right. How long did you take to do this, Chris? You can see it's moving. When I turn the gear, so I can feel the resistance of the motor right now. If I push it down more, it becomes a lot harder. So, this page will be proper gear mesh between the 10-tooth BMG and the 50-tooth. Benefit from good lighting, some magnification, but it's not a requirement. Adjusting motor backlash. Okay, we need to adjust the amount of engagement between the motor pinion and the 52 gear. With the latch and guide door open, hold the print head at an angle that allows you to easily see and move the 52 gear. Use your finger to manipulate the 52 gear back and forth. As you rotate the gear, as you do so, rotate the motor down to the gear. As the two gears begin to mesh, you will feel and see play in the 52 gear become less and less. Once you have a very small amount of movement, your gear meshing is set. Once you feel comfortable, tighten the two M3x10s. So yeah, this is a finicky operation, I'd say. Loosen both of those. That gives me a lot of movement. Not sure if you can see that. It's like 2 millimeters maybe. And so if I have it all the way up and I move it back and forth, there's a lot of movement in that gear. It's really hard to get an angle where you guys can see it. So there's a lot of play there, and if I move it down, that play goes away. And if I move it super tight, there's like no play at all. So we need to find a spot where there's as little backlash as possible. So I'm gonna tighten down this left one a little bit. It doesn't move as freely. Once you have a very small movement, your gear meshing is set. I mean, you're moving like microns, it feels like, in order to try to get this. And then I'm sure as I tighten it up, it's gonna try to walk it one way or the other. This is a very small amount. That feels very small, but I feel like as soon as I tighten it, it's gonna walk a bit and not be exactly where I just set it. It's got a tiny bit of play. I'm not even sure if you guys can see that, but I can feel it. I mean, that feels okay to me. Guess I can make adjustments later if it's not where we need it to be. So I'm going to tighten both of these down. And try not to obsess too much. That's easy for me to do. And safe and sorry. After tightening down these two screws, be sure to recheck that you still have proper gear meshing. You still get light teeth marks. Okay. You just want some light teeth marks. Kind of cool to see the motor shaft turning and the gear down there. You can really get an idea of that gear ratio. I think the teeth marks are a little deeper now, but they don't seem too bad. Print head Hotend. Okay, so now we got our super interesting Hotend. This is a V6 CHC is what they're calling it. It's a ceramic heater core. And really the only thing that is V6-ish is this, oh like cooling fan arrangement. Everything else is pretty different on it. So it has a bimetal heat break, which actually looks kind of decent. I'm assuming this is like a very, very inexpensive hot end for them to include in the kit. You can upgrade it to a Dragon or Dragon High Flow, and I will eventually be upgrading this. But I just want to see what kind of performance it has. So the way you get it in there is very interesting. It's got this like, not really a cam, it's like a pressure fit. I don't know what you would call it, but it's got a piece of it drilled out so that it will clamp up against this. So as you set the set screws down, it pushes this into the cooler. So interesting setup. I've never seen one like this before. I think it's funny they call it the V6, but there is a little metal stop, presumably exactly where that should go. And then I guess I'll have to do a cold nozzle fit later. But it came with this little, presumably hardened nozzle. The heater core looks interesting. Got the ceramic thing on the outside. The light finish on it is not great. Now this is too close and too bright. Yeah. Let's get this set in there again. Two little set screws on the side. So obviously no one-hand nozzle tightening on this. It does come with a wrench to be able to tighten this down into the lock. But then also, I assume to another wrench to hold this guy while you tighten the nozzle. It screws in like that. And it's all tightened up, ready to go in. So this requires some M2 by... I'm going to use the Dragon mounts for it because it has the Dragon holes. Which way do I want stuff to go? Do I want everything to come out the back? Like once this is mounted, slide up in here. Where do I want the... Again, these stupid wires are not staying in the fan housing. I feel like I'm going to destroy the wire trying to get it to just go where it's supposed to go. We do need to measure our bowding tube. There's a jig for that. Where do we want our wires to go? Can they just come out of the back because there's nothing back there? Pull the tool head PCB to the tool head to see which side is better for the wires. Okay. Come on out. Oh, I have a printed piece for this. Where did it go? Electronics? There it is. So this is where we need a little bit of this printed piece is not very pretty, but hopefully it'll be hidden enough. So this Pico umbilical will, or umbilical will mount like this, I think. And then this will mount to there, and then finally that goes in the back of the printer. Okay, so where do they tell us to put on the spacers? Here. So if I put these on now, we can mock stuff up. Having someone who's already done this or something very similar is always really, really helpful. So I kind of don't like the gold. Maybe I'll see if I can get some black spacers like this. Then this will screw on. Not too tall. Oops. PCB down. So is it supposed to bend away like this? There's not a ton of documentation on the site about how this actually kind of... If I go to the umbilical, like there's this diagram, which doesn't show a whole lot. The bomb images. That's just the PCB. Wiring. Overview. That's that picture again. Like local connector. Nope. Chamber hookup. Nope. V0 umbilical. That's on an old afterburner. That's on an old afterburner. All the pictures are of an afterburner. That's an LGX. That's something different too. Do I need to type in mini stealth burner? Oh, I need to type it better. This guy has a picture, but he has everything completely covered up. That's not helpful. That's mini afterburner too. Everybody's got mini afterburner. That CAN bus. Okay, not very much in terms of like actual pictures of what this is supposed to look like, which is a little frustrating. That's just the regular one. Alright, so I need to mount this to this somehow, and there's no heat set insert there, so let's just see if some M3 6s will tap into that. Looks like they will. I'm just not sure. I'm not sure if it's supposed to go that way or that way. I'll take it this way. I printed the like V0.2 parts, so this should be right. It just seems strange they don't have like any pictures of it installed, and you can't really find any online of it installed. So it is 12 a.m. It is now June 16th, and it's my birthday. Thanks for everybody's in stream on my birthday. Alright, so that's secured to that. And then this will be screwed into here, presumably with more M6 screws. Happy birthday, thank you! Welcome to Friday. You're 6 hours ahead. I was just about to shimmy on out of here to bed. Yeah, caught that. Hope you have a good day, dude. Birthday on a Friday is not too bad. Yep, and I have tomorrow off. So thanks for hopping in the stream for a little while, chatting with me, keeping me entertained. And have a good night. And if I don't see you, have a good weekend. So this will go on like this. And there's actually a little split right here. You see that, Chris? It looks like there's like a spot for it to come right underneath and plug in right here. It seems like made to be that way. And I can probably take the excess and like tuck it up under there. See you, Funner. But we need to go back a little bit and get this guy set up. So if this is in here like this, which these stupid band wires are making it really overly difficult to get in. Are my parts just over extruded or what? Okay. And then the hot end is here. Thermistor will go, they kind of split. The thermistor is on this side and the heater is on that side. So what do you think? Do I just need to make it come straight out the back? Is that going to be enough room for the rails like all the way up here, right? Anybody have any good pictures? That's the Pico umbilical. That's not helpful. Am I just taking crazy pills? Or are there just no good examples of what this should look like? That's no GXL. it looks like the thermistor will plug in here. The heater will plug in here. So it kind of doesn't matter if it comes out to any one side or straight out the back, but I just don't know if it comes straight out of the back if there's enough room on the printer for that. Kind of dry fitting over here. You guys can't see it, sorry. Actually, I'm gonna get cleaned up and get ready to bring that over here. I'm also heading the bed down. Have a good night, Renovix. Thank you for dropping in. Hopefully you were entertained for a little bit. And let's get some stuff reorganized. Do not need our chapstick anymore. I can put it off somewhere. Baggies. How long do you think the stock fans will last in this, guy? So, but yeah, Chris, it looks like having it to either side won't be advantageous at all. Maybe this side because this cable's a little bit longer, if I need to put it to one side. I can also, so we need to get this actually tightened down. There's actually 6 holes. So the line's well that way. And this is where I need those 2.5 millimeter by 8. One, two, three, 4. Hopefully that's going to use a 1.5. Yeah. Where are the set screw holes? I want those in a place where I can actually access them. The back is fine. Okay. Alright, that guy's pretty tight. That guy's pretty tight. And then I gotta remember to do the out-in tube next. Alright, so since this mounts in this very interesting way, we can actually loosen these a little bit and then adjust this to be anywhere we want it. So I think I was saying off to this way if it's going to be off the way side, because this is long enough to get over and across. Let's try it like over there. I think this is probably going to get pretty hot, so I don't want it touching an actually 3D printed part, so like right there. Very interesting Hotend, I'll have to say. Machining seems decent. We'll see how it performs. So now Bowden tube. They gave us some reverse Bowden tube and regular Bowden tube. Whew. So the 4x3 I think is the reverse Bowden tube, and the 4x2 is meant for the Hotend. And they gave us quite a bit of it. So this needs to fit into the Hotend, which is a little bit of a problem. I think I'm gonna have to get my deburring tool and or a reamer. So I do have a 4mm reamer. Here. And I bought this little 1/4" chuck to be able to hold these. So this is the M3. Yeah, and this is the M4. It's going to be obnoxiously long. But should help us remount the inconsistency in this hole. And now let's see if our PTFE fits in there. Investment justified. I bought a little set of reamers, and again, this is my printed part, so it's not a PIF part. And now we need a little jig to measure it. Where did I put you, little jig? Here. You can put this through. Actually, it's having a hard time going through their print. So let's ream it. Put this through, put it into our Hotend assembly. Put this down, and we can either take a hobby knife. Let's try it with the hobby knife first. Just have to find my hobby knife. And it's right here. If it was a snake, it would have bit me. Alright, try and lay it flat somehow. Make sure it's pressed all the way in. And then we want to give it a nice thawing motion. We don't close it off at all. Make sure my thumb's out of the way. And then I'm also going to sticks out exactly 6 millimeters now. I'm going to take our knife and give it a little bit of a... Oh, almost cut myself. A little bit of a beveled edge at the top so filament will feed into it pretty easily. I think I saw Steve uses a countersink tool for this. Says it works well. I have some, just not out here though, or in here. They're in the garage. So put that guy in there. That should be perfectly 6 millimeters. And now feed this up inside of our tool head. Come on, slide in. That is backwards, Brian. I want to turn these pieces around 180. Or do I? Yes, because this is the back. I want them to be over here. Right there. All right, now be set in there. And this is all out of order, but hopefully will still work out reasonably well. I think there's a little bit of bend in the PTFE tube and it's not wanting to go. Slide in all that easy. It could also be that this hole needs some reaming. This is the most ridiculously long, unnecessarily long thing ever. Actually a pretty shallow hole. But I did remove some material. So it's possibly getting restricted. Line in, please. There we go. Maybe. I can't tell what the restriction is. Gets to a certain spot and stops. I don't want to push into the heat break. I feel like I'm going to break the heat break. Let's try putting the PTFE tube to here first. Flip it and reverse it. And then do the opposite. Okay, got it started. So it seems like it wasn't the PTFE tube that was preventing it. I think it's these cables over here are just pinching. Yeah, they're pinching up against stupid fan wires. They just do not fit snugly into this little crevice that they're apparently supposed to. Press fitting them in there. And that was partially it. Almost all the way in. Looks like it's binding on something else now. I cannot tell what it's binding on. A fan? This is a bit frustrating. Okay, there we go. And I wish I had done this the opposite way now. Okay. I should have these on the opposite side so that I can adjust it from the front. One more time, we're going to flip these so that the screws are on the other side. Using this 1.5 millimeter, way more than I expected. So, when this is in there, we want these screws to be facing us this way. And that started. That's tight. That's tight. Point like a toy. Back to our manual. Alright, now knowing that this is going to go in this way, want this facing this way, yeah, there's just some like ledge or something that it gets stuck on and I have to coax it past it. What did we do last time? Put this here first. Curious what the JST connector for the heater. Never seen that before? What do you usually see? A micro fit? Like a Molex? I mean, presumably JSTs are like 250 volts, but 3 amps or something like that. I'm not sure what they are rated for. Okay. My Monoprice Maker Select Plus had a JST on the heater. I cannot get this to slide down like... There we go. There's like a ledge or something that it gets stuck on. Just doesn't want to go down. That or a ferrule, yeah. How does it connect on the LDO? So if I want to be able to hot tight or to be able to tighten this, I'm gonna have to have it pretty much straight back, I think, so that I can come in with the wrench from this way. I don't have the wrench over here, but if I have it turned to the either side, then I'm not going to be able to get a wrench in there. So I think it needs to be straight back. And then I'll divert them off to the side. $72 watts. I mean, this toolhead PCB is Voron's design, right? So the LDO uses ferrules and screw terminal. Gotcha. But did you see how there's like a little notch here? Presumably so that this can come through, I would guess. But I think I have everything kind of set up correctly now. So now it's mounting it to the printer. 5 hours later. Put this knife away so I don't cut myself. So I do need these to go off to one side. Okay. How does it mount from the front? M3 by 35. Through these two guys. I might have to order those through. I think the notch is to reach the screws, so you have to pull the Allen key through there. Oh, gotcha. My Stealthburner was like this as well. Like the screws never really just fed through easy on their own. Like passing through two different parts. I feel like I recognize this music from other people's channels too. I really want these to be black. I think I'm gonna try to find some black ones somewhere on the internet. Maybe I can 3D print some black covers for them. But yeah, you're right. The notch is probably so that you can fit a driver through. And really, I'm not even supposed to have these on there yet. All these cables. They're all bending to like the worst spots for them to be. Lower the bed a bit. This is where having a ratcheting screwdriver would be nice. Where did I put the bits? Almost better have it laying down. Okay, it's pinched. Is this actually going in? Yeah, it's still tightening. This feels like it's screwing forever. Did I strip something out? M3 by 16 next. In the back, where those wires are, there's plenty of space. Plenty of space. Let's lift those guys up. This guy is definitely not. Did our nut fall out? That would be terrible. Too much stuff up here. Need to move. So I felt like these screws just kept screwing and screwing and screwing into here. Yeah, they will eventually stop. I guess I just wasn't to that point yet. Oh, are my cable or belts sticking out too far for this to get flush? I think they are. I need to cut the Don't flusher. More flush. The flushest. And I think our nut is not set in there correctly. Where is flathead here? No, I don't want to have to take this whole motor plate off. I'm gonna have to. Dang it. Oh, there we go. That worked. So the super glue wasn't holding the nut in the motor plate well enough. And then the 16mm screw in the back, and hopefully we can get it to feed into the nut well. Nope. It's pushing the nut out and not spreading into it. Oh, that's a pain in the butt. I wonder if anybody else has had that problem. I wonder if I use a longer screw. So I can pull the nut back in. Here, get the screw out. Have to get ready for work. Not as lucky as you to have the day off. Thanks for hopping in. I will do my best to have a happy birthday. If I can get this tool head completely mounted, it will be a good birthday. Have a good day at work. So that did it. That pulled into the nut. Now, will it stay in place while I unscrew this well enough for us to get this 16 millimeter? No, it will not. I'm gonna have to disassemble and remesh this motor. Gosh, that's annoying. That should be doable. We already have it on. Well, I'm taking it off now, but yeah. I super glued that nut into place and it just did not stay. I've got 16. Do I have like an M3 by 18? For some reason, as soon as I get it on here, it just does not want to thread in. Back. Come on, gravity. Help me out here. That's quite frustrating. It's always quite frustrating when you have to like undo a bunch of steps. I know I saw the super glue in there when I prepped this part. Yeah, the nut's coming out. I'm reapplying some glue. And now we have to reassemble. We have to remesh the gears. The motor remounted. Screw down. Come on, get started. Can't get this screw started for the life of me. I know. Okay, let's try to remesh this. The pivot side tightened down pretty well. It's a very, 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 very slight amount of backlash. Double check that again. Okay. Now that nut better stay in place. Let me get these guys started again. Those two should have registered really, really well. It pushed it out again. Why? Why do you hate me, machine? It's my birthday, why won't you go in? That's really frustrating. Let's do this a third time. This is 16, 25. What do I have in M3 now? What do you have in an M3 plate? There are more. If it's just like 2 millimeters longer, it'll bite into the nut and pull it into place. Maybe 3 by 20. Maybe like 18. size, but I might have. Or in here. Socket head, though. Management. 12, 14, 16, 18. Where did I set that screw that fast? Here it is. Was this M3? Yeah. I need a slightly bigger. Frustration abounds. One nut is just holding us back right now. Okay, I got it threaded that time. I had to be very, very gentle. Whew. I don't know if my super glue is not setting well. It's in pretty tight. That's in pretty tight. That guy is in pretty tight. Next we can mount this guy. We need to get these back on. Maybe I can just paint these black. I'm sure they sell them like powder coated, but where's this other screw at? Living room workbench, the last person that chatted. I think so. All those tight. And then there's two more screws, which are M3x8s. The bottom is led into the threaded inserts on the back of the carriage. And you're home. Our cable management loops there. There are our cable tie little guys there. One wire on that side, two wires on that side, and then extruder. Where are the cable ties? Alright, I don't like that stupid nut there. I assume they use it because they couldn't make it any thicker. But I do appreciate that they have cable tie spots. Let's put it towards the back. I'm just going to start it and leave it loose for now. Alright, so extruder, motor wire, plugs in right there in the middle one. That's not quite tightened down. I can maybe find a way to tuck some of these wires somewhere. Then our here is going to go all the way around to here. Our thermistor. Is going to plug in right next to here. Part cooling fan 1. Part cooling fan 2. And there's an X end stop, but that's not being used. That might get used for the sequence later. And then E fan is here. So these need to be tucked in a way that they won't interfere with the belts and such. I will say that the length of this, these two connectors and the wires for the Hotend are perfect. The fans are a bit long. So I have to decide if I want to maybe trim these down and re-pin them. But for now, I can pull this tight. Pull this guy tight. These maybe go under. And come up from behind. Sneak up from behind. Just The natural cable tie spot right there. That's got just a tiny bit more length than I would like. Assume that's the cable tie spot. Yep. Maybe I can curly cue it up a little bit. Zip it up and zip it out. That's pretty clean looking. This side. It's a zip tie. It's like, why is this racking? And another zip tie over here. And can I double up this guy so he's sucked into this one twice? Get rid of just that bit of excess cable. I think it might be possible. I just don't want to pull it so tight that I cinch any of the wires the wrong way. I don't want that pressing up against the rail either. Feedback through, please. This is like doing PC cable management. Silicone wires. That looks pretty clean. I'm happy with that. Can't beat that with a bat. No M stops. So that's a bit of an issue. This access cable for this guy. What can we do with that? I guess you can just run this guy up to the side. Or you could have, I could have run it down, but I'm just going to get it pulled up into this little recess in the back. Make sure he's plugged in. And yeah, I just pulled it up back behind the motor. I might see if I can find a little like cover. Just something to cover the back of this might look nice. I saw actually when I was searching for examples of this, a guy had yeah, this thing. That might kind of make things look a little bit nicer. I mostly just care about like this. I don't know, maybe do some magnets. Attach like magnets. Tract like magnets. Turning the heater core off to the side more again. Because when it sticks straight out to the back, it was hitting the Z-posts. I don't know if that's an actual problem. Let's do a little bit of cleanup. Get in your home. All of the trash together. Some old print skirts sticking out. They did have a couple extra grub screws for stuff, so that was nice. Let's go back to the instructions real quick. Tool head is done. That's everything for the tool head, ladies and gentlemen. Next will be electronics. the back panel, electronics, back panel, bottom panel, fan, and wiring, and then skirts and panels. That could be the last two build streams before movement and other stuff. So for the electronics, I did go ahead and make sure I printed out a mount for the Pi that we have, because we have a Big Tree Tech Pi and its screw footprint is a little bit different. So I made sure I printed out the correct one for it. It's in there somewhere. I did print out these little cable guides, so if you've ever looked at an LDO build, and I think Finalizing and some other companies are starting to use it, especially on their 2.4 and Trident builds. But this is just a printed version of that. They're not very robust. Like if you pinch these, they will break because that's where the layer lines are. So you kind of more have to slide these on as opposed to like pinching and snapping them on. But yeah, you can buy this cable raceway conduit stuff for like super cheap, but you can also print some. We are going to have to get this guy mounted as well. So this will clip into here. We will do some cable restraint here, and then this guy I can get him back out. This guy plugs in like this. And I think there's a printed part that goes on top of this. Like so, maybe? Or maybe like so? Maybe? What's the difference between... I printed a part and then there was a printed part included. Not really sure what the difference is between them. And then there's a little bit of strain relief you can put. Oh, maybe that's what this is for? Wait. This is like an extra piece of strain relief you can put on this guy. I guess he slips right over. I'm gonna break this printed piece. I think this guy has to go down there first. Can I get it off without breaking it? Just barely. So there's two versions of this. This is the one that's in the STLs. So it just has a guide for the Bowden tube that'll come out of here, the reverse Bowden tube. And then there's this guy, which adds a little bit of strain relief that you can zip tie this guy down to. So go like that. This would go over top of it. And can this guy still connect down onto? Yes. Oh, so there's a little thermistor TH1 on the PCB, so they all have cutouts to make sure that there's room for that. Just smart, make it smart. So let's get this attached. It's not going to be in the base instructions, or manual rather. So there's just a heat set insert. That kind of aligns with that. That's the wrong way. So what length of screw do we need? I would think like an M10. Get to the PCB. That might be long. But that 8 is flat. Okay, 8 button. Just like everything else in the build. Come on. Oh, let's just try the wow stick. Wow. That might require a washer. We'll see. Get ready. It didn't require a washer. It pushes itself together just well enough. I thought there was something that I printed that was like a thermistor housing or something. This guy? Was it that guy? I have to see. This is something I printed and I'm not sure exactly what it was for. It's a mod. So this guy can just... not down, hopefully, maybe, yes. And I can't tell if it's seated all that well because of our little Bowden guide here. Lift them back up. Looks like it is seated, but I did pick something up the other day. Can I reach it? For a little extra possible bedazzling. From Aliexpress. At the end of sleeve by electrical tape. I'll do some heat shrink, but I thought that might look kind of cool. Just as a little accent. Will this connector fit through it? If I pivot it the right way, I don't know how much this can expand. It might. How much do we need? We got the scissors. Make it a little extra long at first. Like basically a test piece. Oh yeah, that gets real wide. Oh yeah, that gets nice and wide. It does start to spread apart a lot at the end. So if I can tuck it in on itself. Chinese finger trap. Getting caught on the connector. I mean, this side is already kind of pre. There we go. Boa constrictor. Digesting its food. Let's cut this and light it on fire. Okay, I'm gonna melt it a little bit first. So this might be a little thick, methinks. What diameter is this? It does not say, maybe it's in the outside. This is 3/4 inch. Maybe I need 1/2 inch. It looks kind of lame, all flat like that. Imagining it. Yeah, that looks way too thick. Damn, boy! But if I get 1/2 inch diameter, I'm not sure the connector is going to fit through, so I would have to depin the connector and then repin it. Like I'm doing old PC build stuff. But that would help me get the heat shrink tube on there anyway, so. I think that would be a nice little accent. Oh, gee. Thin it out, it looks like it's not much wider than if you find a way to really skinny it up, it's pretty much fitting right around there. What if I zip tie it down at this end real quick as a test? Did I put away all the zip ties? Yes, I did. Okay, what is 144. Get down there. I started coming up. If I zip tie this down on this end and kind of stretch it out, now it really likes to re-widen. It looks like a fat snake. I wonder how thick they make like paracord and how that might look. It just looks way too thick. And we're gonna do it up just for tonight. I'll probably end up taking it off tonight, to be honest. No! Scheiße. Back over you. I think thinner will look a whole lot better. Obviously that looks like shite right now, but I'm just trying to get an idea of maybe a solid blue paracord. Let me take a look at you. From the front. So 3/4 inch is definitely too thick. So maybe 1/2 inch. I'll order some 1/2 inch and maybe try to find some paracord. when it's super taut in certain places, it looks decent. But anywhere it kind of like expands out, it just kind of looks a little ugly. Not too bad. Put some little decorative here. Get one more zip tie out. And yeah, we're gonna have to take all this apart when we do the sequin anyway, or take the tool head back apart. So when I take it apart to do the sequin, because I think those have to pass up through here somewhere, I'll maybe take these off and paint it black. Where do they show putting in the reverse Bowden tube? That real far down. Down the line, so you get a little yarn. That's putting that stock part up there, but we already have our guy. I don't see anything about the reverse Bowden tube. Control F, reverse. Oh, no sticky keys. Fine, Bowden. 7 instances. So we have a real long length of it. It's going to come out of this guy. Come down through this guy. There's probably no sense of putting it in right now. I just want to see it. Alrighty then. That is the print head and umbilical done. And this printed piece just broke. Have to reprint that. I mean, it's only like 2 perimeters wide. I feel like it's kind of bound to break. But yeah, I think we've got 2 sections of the manual left. Electronics and paneling, I think. Go to page 1. There's 3 sections left: electronics and wiring, skirts and panels, and top hat. And the top hat is about 20 pages long. Electronics and wiring is about 20 pages. They're all about 20 pages, so yeah, that is pretty damn sweet. Happy with the progress for today. Had a little bit of trouble with that one little nut. Make sure you glue it in and give it plenty of time to set. And yeah, so you don't have to end up doing your meshing multiple times. So print head done. I do want to play around with a little bit of excessively color matched cable management, so I might cut all of this off and go with the even thinner paracord. I will most definitely have to repin the connector if I want to do that, but I do have a Molex depinner, so yeah, we will play around with that, see how I feel about it. I might end up streaming tomorrow. I kind of really want to get into the electronics and wiring. It's kind of the funnest part of like PC building for me, is doing cable management and getting everything tucked away. So I actually enjoy it. I know it's a pain in the butt for other people. Yeah, that might be a stream tomorrow, and then maybe Saturday skirts and side panels, or maybe Sunday, and then top hat not too far after that. But actually, honestly, I'll probably just put on enough skirts and panels and stuff to get everything kind of fired on and working. And then I'll probably do a config stream, and then after I get things moving, I'll probably do the skirts, panels, and top hat after that. So that's the plan, Stan, right now. Yeah, really happy with the build so far, getting towards the end. Thank you to everybody who popped into the stream. It was fun chatting with everybody while you were here. Hopefully the mistakes I made while doing this will help out anybody else who's building this Formbot kit. And yeah, learn from my mistakes, don't repeat them. I will be back streaming probably tomorrow, if not some other time this weekend. Thank you guys for hopping into the stream. I will see you in the next one. Peace. Hit that like button if you haven't.